The alarm blared through the starship horizon, pulling Captain June Park from his sleep. He rubbed his eyes and reached for the communication panel beside his bed. "Captain Park here," he said, his voice still rough from sleep. "Sir, we've picked up a distress signal," said Officer Hana, her voice tense. "It's from the research ship Dauntless." June sat up straight. The Dauntless had gone missing 3 weeks ago while exploring the ruins on planet Nexus 7. Everyone thought it was lost forever, like the other ships that had vanished in that region of space. "I'll be right there," he said, already pulling on his uniform. 5 minutes later, June walked onto the bridge. The main screen showed a map of nearby space, with a blinking red dot marking the source of the distress call. "Show me the signal," he ordered. Hana pressed a few buttons and a scratchy voice filled the bridge. "This is Dr. Min-ho of the research vessel Dauntless. We found something in the ruins. Something ancient. Most of the crew is gone. If anyone receives this, please help. The coordinates are..." The message cut off in static. "That's all we got, sir," Hana said. "It repeats every 10 minutes. June frowned. "Where exactly is the signal coming from?" "Nexus 7, sir. The Forbidden Planet." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Everyone knew about Nexus 7. The Galactic Council had declared it off limits after 3 exploration teams disappeared there. The ruins on its surface were said to be millions of years old, built by a civilization that existed long before humans reached the stars. "How many life signs?" June asked. Hana checked her screen. "Just one human signal where there should be 27 crew members. And..." She paused, looking confused. "Something else. Something very large." "What do you mean by large?" June asked. "The readings suggest a living organism, but it's massive, bigger than anything in our database." June walked to the main viewport and stared out at the stars. The Galactic Council had strict rules about Nexus 7. No ships were allowed to approach it. Breaking this rule could mean losing his command, or worse. "Sir," said his first officer, Taewon, "Council regulations clearly state that Nexus 7 is forbidden territory. We should report the signal and wait for instructions." June turned to face his crew. "And how long will that take? 4 days? A week?" Dr. Min-ho might not have that much time. "With all respect, Captain," Taewon continued, "the other species in the Council call humans foolish for a reason. We take risks they would never consider." "Maybe that's not such a bad thing," June replied. He looked around at the faces of his crew, all human, all watching him for a decision. "Set a course for Nexus 7. "Sir?" Hana looked surprised. "You heard me. Someone is alive down there and they need help. I'm not going to abandon them because of some council rule." "The council will not be happy," Taewon warned. "I'll deal with the council later," June said firmly. "Right now, we have a rescue mission to plan." As the ship changed course, June called a meeting in the briefing room. His senior officers gathered around the table. Taewon, his cautious first officer, Hana, the communications expert, Dae-hyun, the security chief, Soo-jin, their best pilot, and Dr. Hyunji, the ship's xenobiologist. "Here's what we know," June began, bringing up a holographic image of Nexus 7. The planet looked ordinary enough. Blue oceans, green and brown land masses, white clouds swirling in its atmosphere. The Dauntless landed near these ruins. He pointed to a dark spot on the northern continent. "What were they researching?" asked Yunji. "The ruins are believed to be from the predecessor civilization," June explained. "A species that existed millions of years ago and then suddenly vanished. The Dauntless was sent to study their technology. And now they've vanished too," Dae-hyun said grimly. "All except one." June nodded. "Which is why we need to be careful. Soo-jin, you'll pilot the shuttle. Dae-hyun, Yunji, and I will form the ground team." "Sir, I should go instead of you," Taewon protested. "The captain shouldn't..." "I've made my decision," June cut him off. "You'll command the horizon while we're gone. If we don't return in 6 hours, you're to leave this system and report to command." Taewon looked unhappy but nodded. "What about the large life form?" Yunji asked. "Any ideas what it could be?" June shook his head. "None, The predecessors kept no records that we've found. Everything we know about them comes from studying their ruins. Could it be dangerous? Hana asked. We have to assume it is, Daehyun replied, checking his weapon. I'll bring extra firepower. No, June said firmly. Standard weapons only. We're going in for rescue, not combat. If the situation turns hostile, we retreat immediately. The meeting continued as they discussed details of the mission. When they finished, June returned to the bridge to oversee their approach to Nexus 7. The planet grew larger on the view screen. From orbit, it looked peaceful, even beautiful. It was hard to believe it had swallowed so many explorers without a trace. We're picking up the Dauntless on scanners, Hana reported. It appears intact, no obvious damage. Life signs? June asked. Still just the one human. And the other thing. It's in the same location, beneath the main ruins. Beneath? June raised an eyebrow. The ruins extend underground? Apparently so, and quite deep. Our scans can't penetrate all the way. June felt a chill run down his spine. What had the Dauntless found down there? What had happened to its crew? Sir, Taewon said quietly. It's not too late to reconsider. We could send a probe first. June shook his head. A person is down there, Taewon. Someone who needs our help. I won't leave them. The older species call that the human weakness, Taewon said. Our inability to make cold, logical decisions when emotions are involved. Maybe, June admitted. Or maybe it's our greatest strength. 3 hours later, June stood in the shuttle bay, checking his environment suit one last time. Beside him, Daehyun loaded supplies while Yoonji calibrated her scientific instruments. Remember, June told them, our priority is finding Dr. Minho and getting out. No unnecessary risks, no exploring beyond what's needed for the rescue. What if he doesn't want to leave? Yoonji asked. The message didn't specifically ask for evacuation. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, June replied, but I'm not leaving anyone behind on that planet. They boarded the shuttle, and Soo-jin guided it out of the Horizon's bay. As they descended toward Nexus 7's surface, June looked out the viewport at the approaching landscape. The ruins came into view, massive black structures that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They were arranged in patterns that made no sense to human eyes, with spires that reached hundreds of meters into the sky. The Dauntless is just ahead, Soo-jin reported. I'll set us down nearby. The shuttle landed with a gentle bump. Through the viewport, they could see the Dauntless about 50 meters away. It sat perfectly intact, as if its crew had simply parked it and walked away. Atmosphere is breathable, Yoonji reported, checking her instruments. Standard nitrogen-oxygen mix, though there's an unusual concentration of metallic particles in the air. Keep your helmets on anyway, June ordered. We don't know what those particles might do. They exited the shuttle, the planet's heavy gravity, immediately making itself felt despite their suits' compensators. The sky above was a strange purple-gray with clouds that moved too fast for natural weather. The human life sign is coming from inside the ruins, Daehyun said, checking his scanner. About 500 meters that way. He pointed toward the largest structure, a building that resembled a massive temple or palace. As they approached, June noticed strange symbols carved into the black material of the ruins. They seemed to shift and change when viewed from different angles, making his eyes hurt if he looked at them too long. Captain? Soo-jin's voice came, through his helmet comm. I'm detecting energy fluctuations from the ruins, and the Horizon reports gravitational anomalies in orbit. Understood, June replied. Keep the engines ready. We might need to leave quickly. They reached the entrance to the main structure, a massive doorway shaped like a perfect arch leading into darkness. No door blocked their way, just an opening into the unknown. Dr. Minho? June called out. This is Captain Park of the Starship Horizon. We received your distress call. Only silence answered him. He's in there, Daehyun confirmed, looking at his scanner, and so is the large life form. June took a deep breath and stepped through the doorway into the ancient darkness beyond. The inside of the ruins was darker than the blackest night. The team's flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing walls made of the same strange black material as the outside. The beams of light seemed to travel shorter distances than they should, as if the darkness itself was eating the light. "This place feels wrong," Daehyun whispered. His hand resting on his weapon, June understood what he meant. There was something about the ruins that made his skin crawl. The air felt heavy and sounds echoed strangely, sometimes coming back distorted. "Dr. Minho," June called again. His voice bounced off the walls and came back sounding deeper, almost like someone else was speaking. Yoonji was scanning the walls with her instruments. "Captain, these readings don't make sense. The material isn't metal or stone or anything in our database, and it seems to be active somehow." "Active? You mean alive?" June asked. "Not alive exactly, but not completely inert either. It's generating energy in patterns I've never seen before." They moved deeper into the ruins, following Daehyun's scanner that showed the human life sign ahead of them. The corridors twisted and turned in ways that defied normal architecture. Sometimes they would walk what felt like a straight line, only to find themselves facing a completely different direction. "I think we're going down," Sujin's voice crackled through their comms. "My instruments show you're about 50 meters below ground level now." "That can't be right," June said, looking back the way they had come. "We haven't gone down any stairs or ramps." "Nevertheless, you're definitely descending," Sujin confirmed. "And Captain, the energy readings are getting stronger." As they continued, June noticed something strange about the corridors. They seemed to be getting wider and taller, as if designed for beings much larger than humans. The symbols on the walls were changing too, becoming more complex and somehow more urgent looking. "The life sign is just ahead," Daehyun reported. "Through that doorway." They stood before another arch, this one smaller than the entrance but decorated with swirling patterns that seemed to move when not looked at directly. Beyond it was a large chamber dimly lit by a soft blue glow. "Dr. Minho," June called as they entered the room. "We're here to help you." The chamber was circular, with a high ceiling that disappeared into darkness above. The blue light came from strange crystal formations that grew from the walls. In the center of the room sat a man in a tattered research uniform, his back to them. "Dr. Minho?" June approached slowly, not wanting to startle him. The man turned. His face was thin and pale, with dark circles under his eyes. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. When he saw them, his eyes widened in fear. "No," he whispered. "No, you shouldn't be here. You need to leave, now." "We came to rescue you," June said, kneeling beside him. "We got your distress signal." Minho shook his head frantically. "I didn't send a distress signal." "She did." "She?" Yoonji asked, looking around the empty room. "Who's she?" "The Queen," Minho whispered, his eyes darting to the shadows. "She controls this place. She brought you here." Daehyun's scanner beeped loudly. "Captain, the large life form is moving. It's coming this way." June helped Minho to his feet. "We need to go." "Can you walk?" "You don't understand," Minho said, pulling away from June. "No one can leave without her permission. And she won't give it. Not now that she's found more humans." "What happened to your crew?" June asked, trying to keep his voice calm. Minho's face twisted in pain. "They're still here. All of them. They're part of it now. Part of the system." "Part of what system?" Yoonji asked. Before Minho could answer, a low rumble shook the chamber. Dust and small pieces of the ceiling fell around them. The blue crystals pulsed brighter. "She's coming," Minho whispered, backing away. "The Queen is coming." "Captain?" Sujin's voice came through the comm, filled with static. "Something's happening. The energy readings are off the charts, and the horizon reports that the gravitational field around the planet is becoming unstable. We're leaving," June decided. "Dr. Minho, you're coming with us." "I can't," Minho said, shaking his head. "I'm needed here. The beast is dying." "What beast?" Daehyun demanded, his weapon now drawn and pointed at the shadows. The rumbling grew louder. One of the walls of the chamber began to shift, the black material flowing like liquid to create an opening where none had been before. Beyond it was a corridor that glowed with the same blue light as the crystals. "The beast beneath the ruins," Minho explained, his voice taking on a reverent tone. "The one the predecessors captured and imprisoned here. The one the Queen has guarded for millions of years." "Dr. Minho," June said firmly, "whatever you think is happening here, you need medical attention. Please come with us." Minho looked at June with pity in his eyes. "You still don't understand." You think this is madness, but it's the truth. The beast is real. It's what the predecessors built this place to contain, and now it's dying. And that's bad? Hunji asked cautiously. It's catastrophic, Minho replied. The beast isn't just a creature. It's a living prison for something worse, something that can't be allowed to escape. Another tremor shook the chamber, stronger this time. Several of the blue crystals cracked and fell from the walls. Captain. Sujin's voice was urgent now. You need to get out of there. The horizon is detecting massive energy spikes. The whole planet seems to be becoming unstable. You heard her, Jun said to his team. We're leaving, Dr. Minho, this is your last chance. Minho backed away further. She won't let you leave. Not now, she needs you. Humans are the only ones who can help. Help with what? Jun demanded. Fixing the beast, Minho said simply. Repairing the prison before it fails completely. The newly formed corridor suddenly filled with a strange, shifting light. A shadow moved within it, growing larger as it approached. The air in the chamber became heavy and hard to breathe. Captain, Daehyun warned. Something's coming. Jun drew his own weapon. Stay behind me, he ordered Yoonji. Dr. Minho, please. It's too late, Minho interrupted. She's here. The being that emerged from the corridor defied description. It seemed to shift between forms as it moved, sometimes appearing insect-like, sometimes reptilian, sometimes like nothing from Earth at all. It was massive, at least 3 times the height of a human, with too many limbs and eyes that glowed with the same blue light as the crystals. Humans. A voice echoed in their minds, bypassing their ears entirely. More humans, good. Jun staggered back, the mental intrusion making his head spin. Beside him, Yoonji gasped and Daehyun raised his weapon higher. Don't shoot, Minho cried. She's not hostile. She's desperate. The beast weakens. The voice continued in their minds. The prison fails. If the beast dies, all dies, and what are you? Jun managed to ask, fighting through the disorientation. I am the queen, last of my kind, guardian of the beast. Images flooded Jun's mind, a civilization more advanced than anything humans had ever known. A terrible discovery beneath the surface of their world, a desperate plan to contain a threat they couldn't destroy. The predecessors, Yoonji whispered, clearly seeing the same images. You're one of them. The last. The others ascended. I remained to guard. Guard what exactly? Jun asked, trying to make sense of the fragmented images in his mind. That which cannot be destroyed. That which must not escape. The beast contains it. I maintain the beast, but now the beast fails. Another tremor shook the chamber, more violent than before. Cracks appeared in the floor and more crystals fell from the walls. Time grows short. The queen's voice pressed into their minds. The beast requires repair. Humans possess what is needed. And what's that? Jun asked. Minho answered before the queen could. Creativity, intuition, the ability to make mental leaps that other species can't. The predecessors built systems based on pure logic, but the beast is changing, evolving. It needs a different approach now. Yes, the queen confirmed. Humans think differently. This is why the others call you foolish. This is why you are needed. Jun looked at his team, then back at the queen. You sent the distress signal. You lured us here. Yes. What happened to the dauntless crew? The queen's form shifted, and for a moment, Jun saw glimpses of humans working within strange machinery, their bodies connected to systems he couldn't comprehend. They serve. They maintain. They are not harmed. Not harmed? Daehyun scoffed. They've been absorbed into your machines. They understand the necessity. They chose to help. And now you want one of us, Jun realized. That's why you brought us here. Yes, one who understands. One who can repair what fails. The chamber shook again, and this time the floor cracked open, revealing a pulsing blue light far below. Choose, the queen demanded. One stays to repair. Others may leave. Or all may leave, and all will end when the beast breaks free. Silence filled the chamber as the queen's demand hung in the air. Jun looked at his team members' faces. Daehyun's jaw was tight, his weapon still raised. Yoonji's eyes were wide with a mix of fear and scientific curiosity. Dr. Minho simply looked resigned, as if he had expected this all along. You can't be serious, Daehyun finally said. You're asking one of us to stay here forever? To become part of your system? Not forever. The queen's voice echoed in their minds. Until the beast is stable again. Until the prison is secure. And how long will that take? June asked. Days, years, centuries? The Queen's form shifted, her many eyes blinking in sequence. Time flows differently here. For you, perhaps 1 year. For the outside world, perhaps 10. 10 years, Daehyun exclaimed. That's better than the end of everything, Minho cut in. You don't understand what's at stake. I've seen it. I've felt it. What's contained here, it can't be allowed to escape. Another tremor shook the chamber stronger than before. A large crack spread across one wall and blue light poured through it. Captain? Sujin's voice came through their comms, breaking with static. The horizon is detecting massive energy surges. The planet's core is becoming unstable. Whatever you're doing down there, you need to hurry. June took a deep breath. Show us, he said to the Queen. Show us what's really at stake here. The Queen moved closer, her form towering over them. See? Suddenly, June's mind was flooded with images and sensations so alien and terrible that he fell to his knees. He saw the beast, a massive living organism that existed in multiple dimensions at once. It was ancient beyond comprehension, its body a prison for something even more terrible, an entity that existed before the universe as they knew it, something that saw the laws of physics as mere suggestions. He saw what would happen if the beast died and its prisoner escaped. Reality itself would unravel, starting with Nexus 7 and spreading outward like a cancer, consuming stars, planets, and entire civilizations, not just death, but complete erasure from existence. When the vision ended, June found himself on the floor, gasping for breath. Beside him, Yoonji was crying silently, and even Daehyun looked shaken. Now you understand, Minho said quietly. Now you see why one must stay. June slowly got to his feet. If what you've shown us is true, he said to the Queen, then why only one person? Why not ask for a team of scientists, engineers? Surely that would be more effective. The beast systems can only support limited external input. Too many minds would create discord, chaos. One mind, properly integrated, is optimal. And it has to be a human? The Galactic Council has species with far more advanced technology than ours. They have tried. They failed. Their minds are too rigid, too logical. The beast requires intuition, creativity, the ability to see patterns where none exist. Humans excel at this. Another tremor rocked the chamber, and this time a piece of the ceiling crashed down nearby. Time grows short, the Queen pressed. Choose now. One stays or all perish. June looked at his team. He couldn't order any of them to stay. This had to be a voluntary choice. I'll do it, Yoonji suddenly said, stepping forward. I'm a xenobiologist. I might understand the beast systems better than— No, June interrupted. I'm the captain. This is my responsibility. Sir, with all respect, Daehyun protested. The horizon needs you. That's enough, June said firmly. I've made my decision. He turned to the Queen. I'll stay, but I have conditions. The Queen's form seemed to ripple with what might have been surprise. Speak your conditions. First, my team leaves safely. You provide them with whatever information they need to explain my absence to our superiors. Acceptable. Second, you show me exactly what happened to the Dauntless crew. I want to see their condition for myself. The Queen's form shifted again, and a section of the wall became transparent. Beyond it, June could see a vast chamber filled with strange machinery. Human figures moved among the equipment, their bodies partially merged with the systems. They didn't appear to be in pain. If anything, their faces showed intense concentration, as if they were solving a complex puzzle. They serve willingly, the Queen explained. Their minds are expanded beyond human limitations. They understand the importance of their work. Will I become like them? June asked. Similar, but different. They maintain. You will repair. Your integration will be deeper, June nodded slowly. My third condition, if I succeed in repairing the beast, you release me and the Dauntless crew. All of us. The Queen was silent for a long moment. If the beast is repaired fully, this is possible. But not all may wish to return. Some have grown, attached to their new existence. Let them make that choice when the time comes, June said. Do we have an agreement? We do. Another violent tremor shook the chamber. This time the crack in the floor widened, revealing a pulsing blue abyss below. Captain, you can't do this, Daehyun insisted. There has to be another way. If there is, we don't have time to find it, June replied. He turned to his security chief. Daehyun, get Dr. Minho and Yoonji back to the shuttle. Tell Taewon he's in command of the Horizon now. Sir, that's an order, Chief. Daehyun's face hardened, but he nodded. Yes, sir. Dr. Minho, June said, turning to the scientist, will you go with them? Or do you choose to stay? Minho looked torn. I should stay. I've already begun to understand the systems. The Horizon needs your knowledge, June countered. You can help them prepare in case... He didn't finish the sentence. Minho nodded reluctantly. Very well. I'll go. Yoonji, June said to the xenobiologist, make sure the council gets all the data we've collected. They need to understand what's at stake here. I will, Captain, she promised, tears in her eyes. And we'll come back for you, somehow. June smiled sadly. I know you'll try. As his team prepared to leave, June turned back to the Queen. How do we begin? Follow. The Queen moved toward the crack in the floor, her form flowing like liquid. June took a deep breath and followed, pausing at the edge to look back at his team one last time. The older species call humans foolish, he said. Maybe they're right. But sometimes being foolish is the only way forward. With that, he stepped into the abyss, following the Queen down into the depths of Nexus 7. The descent seemed to last forever. June fell through space that wasn't quite space, surrounded by the blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. The Queen moved beside him, her form shifting constantly. The beast lies ahead, she told him. Prepare yourself. They emerged into a vast chamber that defied human comprehension. It stretched in all directions, seemingly infinite, yet somehow contained within the planet. In the center floated a massive organism that June's mind struggled to process. It was like a living mountain, its surface covered with pulsing organs and structures that moved in impossible ways. Parts of it seemed to fade in and out of reality, existing in dimensions beyond human perception. The beast, the Queen explained, ancient beyond your understanding, captured by my people when the universe was young. And what does it contain? June asked, though he already knew the answer from the Queen's earlier vision, that which came before. That which exists outside. That which must never escape. As they approached the beast, June saw the problem. A section of its body was failing, the tissues turning dark and lifeless. The blue energy that flowed through it was leaking out, dissipating into the surrounding space. The beast's prison functions are failing, the Queen explained. The containment weakens. Soon that which is imprisoned will sense the weakness and push against its bonds. What do you need me to do? June asked. Join with the beast, become part of its systems. Use your human mind to find solutions where our logic has failed. June looked at the massive creature before him, then back the way they had come. His team would be reaching the surface by now, heading back to the shuttle. Soon they would be safe on the horizon, leaving Nexus 7 behind. He thought of Earth, of his family, of all the places he would never see again. Then he thought of the vision the Queen had shown him. Reality unraveling, everything he loved erased from existence. I'm ready, he said. The Queen moved closer, her form enveloping him. The integration will be difficult, but necessary. As the Queen's essence merged with his, June felt his consciousness expanding, connecting with the beast's systems. Pain shot through his body as it began to change, adapting to its new purpose. His last fully human thought was a simple one. Sometimes, being foolish is the wisest choice of all. Pain was June's first sensation as his mind connected with the beast. It wasn't physical pain, but something deeper, as if his very thoughts were being stretched and pulled in directions they were never meant to go. Colors he had no names for flashed before his eyes. Sounds that shouldn't exist filled his ears. What's happening to me? He tried to ask, but his voice no longer worked the same way. Integration begins, the Queen's voice answered in his mind. Your consciousness joins with the beast's systems. It is uncomfortable at first, that was an understatement. June felt like his mind was being torn apart and rebuilt. Memories from his life flashed before him. His childhood on Earth, his first day at the Space Academy, his promotion to Captain of the Horizon. Each memory seemed to be examined, catalogued, and then stored away. Your experiences shape your thinking, the Queen explained. The beast must understand how you solve problems. Gradually, the pain began to fade. June became aware of new sensations. The flow of energy through the beast's massive body, the constant struggle to contain what lay within, the slow failure of systems that had functioned perfectly for millions of years. He could feel the other humans too, the crew of the Dauntless, their minds working on different parts of the beast's systems. They acknowledged his presence with brief touches of consciousness, then returned to their tasks. "You see now," the Queen said. "They are not prisoners. They are partners in the most important work in the universe." They didn't choose this, June thought back. They did once they understood. As you did, June couldn't argue with that. He had made his choice, knowing what it meant. Now he needed to focus on the task at hand. "Show me the problem," he thought. The Queen guided his awareness to a section of the beast where the blue energy was leaking out. It was like looking at a massive wound in a living body, but instead of blood, pure energy was escaping. "This is the primary containment failure," the Queen explained. "The beast's natural healing cannot repair it." The original designers did not anticipate this type of damage. June studied the problem. The beast's systems were incredibly complex, far beyond human technology. But as he looked closer, he began to see patterns to understand how things connected. "It's like the beast's immune system is attacking itself," he observed. "It's trying to heal the damage, but it's making things worse." Yes, the containment systems and the beast's natural functions are in conflict. They must be harmonized. How long has this been happening? The degradation began 3 of your years ago. It accelerates. Without intervention, complete failure will occur within 1 of your months. And the Dauntless crew? They've been trying to fix this? Yes, they have slowed the degradation but cannot reverse it. Their approaches are too methodical, too linear. June understood what the Queen meant. The other humans were working within the framework of the beast's existing systems, trying to repair them as they were designed. But what was needed was something new, something that hadn't been tried before. "I need to see the whole system," June decided. "Not just this part, but everything. How it all connects." The Queen seemed hesitant. "Such awareness is dangerous for a new integration. Your mind may not withstand it." "We don't have time for a gradual approach," June insisted. "Show me everything." After a moment's pause, the Queen relented. "Very well. Prepare yourself." Suddenly, June's consciousness expanded exponentially. He could see the entire beast at once, every system, every function, every connection. More than that, he could sense what the beast contained, a presence so alien and terrible that his mind recoiled from it. It was like looking at a star through a piece of dark glass. He could see the outline, feel the heat, but the full reality was hidden from him, and he was grateful for that. Even this indirect awareness was almost too much to bear. "This is what must remain contained," the Queen told him. "This is what my people discovered, what they could not destroy, what they built the beast to imprison. What is it?" June asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted the answer. "It has no name in any language, you know. It existed before this universe. It will exist after. It does not follow the laws of reality as you understand them. If it escapes, it will unmake everything." June pulled his awareness back from the presence, focusing instead on the beast's systems. Now that he could see everything at once, the problem became clearer. The beast was a living organism, but it had been modified extensively by the predecessors, turned into a living prison. The modifications were failing after millions of years, and the beast's natural healing processes were fighting against them. The original designers made a mistake, June realized. They treated the beast like a machine, not a living thing. They forced it to work against its nature. Yes, this is why it fails now. We need to redesign the containment systems to work with the beast's natural functions, not against them. We need to make the prison part of the beast, not something imposed on it. The Queen's presence seemed to brighten with interest. This approach was not considered. "How would you proceed?" June began to work. He couldn't physically touch anything, but his mind could interact with the beast's systems directly. He started by mapping the energy flows, seeing how they should move versus how they were actually moving. Then he began making small adjustments, redirecting energy here, strengthening connections there. It was like playing a musical instrument of unimaginable complexity. Each change affected everything else, creating ripples throughout the beast's massive body. Sometimes the changes made things worse and he had to backtrack. Other times they produced unexpected improvements. The crew of the Dauntless noticed what he was doing. At first they seemed confused, even resistant. Their minds reached out to his, questioning his approach. "Trust me," June told them. "We need to try something different." Gradually, they began to understand. One by one, they shifted their efforts to support his work. Their specialized knowledge, engineering, biology, physics, complemented his broader vision. Together, they began to make real progress. The Queen observed but did not interfere. Your approach is unexpected, chaotic, yet I see the pattern emerging. That's the human way, June replied. We see connections where others don't. We make intuitive leaps. Sometimes we're wrong, but when we're right. He didn't need to finish the thought. The results were becoming visible. The energy leak was slowing. The damaged area was beginning to stabilize. The beast's natural healing was no longer fighting the containment systems but working with them. It's working, one of the Dauntless crew, a woman named Jisoo, communicated to him. The containment field is strengthening. We're not done yet, June cautioned. This is just the beginning. We need to redesign the entire system, not just patch this one area. Such extensive changes were not part of our agreement, the Queen reminded him. You were to repair the immediate failure. The immediate failure is just a symptom, June argued. If we don't address the underlying problem, it will happen again. And next time, you might not find humans to help you in time. The Queen was silent for a long moment. What you propose would take considerable time. How long? Years, perhaps. The beast's systems are vast and complex. June thought about his life on the horizon, about Earth, about everything he had left behind. Then he thought about what would happen if the beast's prisoner escaped. I'll stay as long as it takes, he decided. But I want something in return. You have already stated your conditions, the Queen reminded him. I want to contact my ship, June said. I want them to know I'm alive and what I'm doing here. And I want them to spread the word to other humans, scientists, engineers, people who might be able to help. You wish to bring more humans here? The Queen seemed surprised, not immediately. But we need to prepare. This isn't just your problem anymore. If that thing escapes, it threatens everyone. Humans should know what's at stake. Again, the Queen was silent for a long time. Your species continues to surprise me. Most would run from such knowledge. That's why you need us, June said. We're foolish enough to face things that terrify us. Very well, the Queen finally agreed. You may contact your ship, but choose your words carefully. Some knowledge is too dangerous to share widely. I understand, June assured her. I'll be careful. As he continued working on the beast systems, June composed his message to the horizon in his mind. How could he explain what he had discovered? How could he prepare humanity for what might come? He would have to be both honest and cautious. The truth was too important to hide, but too dangerous to reveal completely. It was a delicate balance, just like the work he was doing on the beast systems. But if anyone could walk that line, it was humans. Foolish, creative, intuitive humans. 1 year passed on Nexus 7, though June barely noticed the time. His consciousness had become so integrated with the beast systems that days and weeks blended together. He worked constantly, making adjustments, testing new approaches, slowly rebuilding the containment from the inside out. The crew of the Dauntless worked alongside him, their minds linked but still individual. They had developed a rhythm, a way of working together that combined their different skills and perspectives. Jisoo's engineering knowledge, Minho's understanding of alien biology, and the other's specialized expertise all contributed to the whole. The Queen remained with them, guiding when needed but increasingly stepping back as the humans demonstrated their unique abilities. Your progress exceeds expectations, she told June one day as they examined a newly redesigned section of the containment field. The beast heals faster than predicted. We're still not done, June replied. The core systems need to be completely rebuilt. The original design was too rigid, too dependent on perfect conditions. Yet you have already accomplished what my people thought impossible. The containment is stronger now than it has been for millennia. June felt a sense of pride at that, but he didn't let it distract him. The work was too important for complacency. His message to the horizon had been sent months ago. The Queen had allowed him to establish a limited communication link, enough to explain his situation and the nature of the threat. He had been careful with his words, revealing enough to convey the seriousness of the situation without causing panic. The response had come 3 weeks later. The horizon had returned to Earth with Dr. Minho and the others. They had reported to the highest levels of Earth's government and the Galactic Council. A special task force had been formed to study the situation and prepare contingency plans. More importantly, a team of human scientists was being assembled. volunteers who would come to Nexus 7 to help with the work. They would arrive in another 6 months, bringing new ideas and fresh perspectives. The beast's primary neural pathways are fully integrated with the containment field now, Jisoo reported, her consciousness touching June's. The conflict between organic and artificial systems is resolving. Good, June replied. Let's move on to the dimensional anchors. They're still showing signs of stress. As they worked, June became aware of a change in the beast. It was subtle at first, a shift in energy patterns, a new awareness. The beast was not just accepting their modifications, it was beginning to understand them. The beast is becoming more conscious of its purpose, he told the queen. It's no longer just a prison, it's becoming a guardian. This was not anticipated, the queen admitted. The beast was never meant to be aware in this way. Is it dangerous? Unknown. But the containment appears stronger, not weaker. Continue your work. June did, but he paid close attention to the beast's growing awareness. It wasn't like human consciousness or even like the queen's alien mind. It was something different. A slow, deep awareness that operated on a timescale of centuries rather than minutes. And it was curious about the humans working within its systems. One day, as June was adjusting a particularly complex energy flow, he felt the beast's attention focus on him directly. It was like being watched by a mountain, a vast patient presence that had existed for eons and would continue long after he was gone. Human, a voice unlike any he had heard before echoed through his mind. It was not the queen's voice nor any of his human companions. It was deeper, older, more fundamental, like the voice of the planet itself. You can communicate, June said, surprised. Yes, you have changed me, made me more. We're trying to help you heal, June explained. To make you stronger, I understand now. My purpose, my prisoner, the danger. You know what you contain, always known, never understood. Now I do, because of you, because of humans. The beast's awareness touched June's mind more deeply, examining his memories, his emotions, his understanding of the universe. Curious creatures, small lives, brief time, yet such vision, such courage. We're just trying to survive, June said. Like everyone else, no, not like others. Others flee danger. Humans face it. Others accept limits. Humans challenge them. Others call this foolish. I call it necessary. The beast's consciousness withdrew slightly, but June could still feel its attention. Continue your work, human. I will assist, and it did. Over the next months, the beast began to actively participate in its own reconstruction. It directed energy to where the humans were working, adjusted its biological processes to accommodate their changes, even suggested modifications through subtle shifts in its systems. The work progressed faster than anyone had expected. The containment field grew stronger daily. The prisoner remained secure, unaware of the changes happening around it. 10 months after June had first descended into the depths of Nexus 7, the Queen called all the humans together. The primary repairs are complete, she announced. The beast is stable. The containment will hold for at least another 1,000,000 years. A wave of relief and accomplishment washed through the linked human minds. They had done it. They had saved not just Nexus 7 but potentially the entire universe. What happens now? June asked. As agreed, you may return to your people if you wish. Your physical bodies have been maintained. They await your return. June had almost forgotten about his body. His consciousness had been so integrated with the beast's systems that his physical form seemed distant, almost irrelevant. And the beast? He asked. What will happen to it? I will continue to guard it as I have for millions of years, but now I will not be alone. The beast itself has become a guardian. The beast's vast consciousness touched June's mind again. You have given me purpose beyond prison. I am grateful. June shared the beast's message with the other humans. One by one, they had to make their choice. Return to their physical bodies and their former lives, or remain integrated with the beast, continuing the work of maintaining and improving the containment. To June's surprise, many chose to stay. They had found meaning in their work here, a purpose greater than anything they had known before. Their consciousness had expanded beyond human limitations, allowing them to perceive reality in ways impossible for physical beings. I need to go back, June told them. Someone has to tell our people what we've accomplished here, what we've learned. Jisu's consciousness touched his. I'll stay. Someone needs to continue what you started. Others made similar choices. Some to go, some to stay. In the end, about half of the dauntless crew decided to return to their physical forms. The Queen guided those who chose to leave back to the chamber where their bodies waited. June was shocked to see his physical form. It seemed so small, so limited compared to the expanded consciousness he now possessed. The transition may be difficult, the Queen warned. Your minds have changed. Your bodies have not. We'll manage, June assured her. Humans are adaptable, indeed. More than any species I have encountered in my long existence. Before returning to his body, June reached out one last time to the beast. Thank you for what you've taught us, and I thank you, foolish human. You have given me new life, new purpose. I will not forget. The reintegration with his physical body was painful and disorienting. June gasped as his lungs filled with air for the first time in months. His muscles screamed in protest as he tried to move limbs that had been still for too long. But he was alive. He was human again. And he had a message to deliver. 3 weeks later, a shuttle from Earth arrived at Nexus 7. It carried the promised team of scientists and engineers, volunteers who had heard June's message and chosen to help. As June prepared to board the shuttle that would take him home, he looked back at the ruins that had once seemed so alien and threatening. Now they were familiar, almost comforting. He knew what lay beneath them, not just a prison, but a guardian, a partner in the most important task in the universe. The older species call humans foolish, he told the leader of the new team. They think our curiosity, our willingness to take risks, our empathy for others are weaknesses. And what do you think? She asked. June smiled. I think being foolish enough to care, foolish enough to help, foolish enough to face the unknown. That's our greatest strength. That's what saved the beast and maybe the universe. As the shuttle lifted off, carrying him back toward the stars, June felt the distant touch of the beast's consciousness one last time. Farewell, foolish human. The universe needs more like you. The end.